G'day, have I got a story for you? Check the disclaimer. Season 1, Episode 76, Prescription. Sleepy Man and I are escorted in by the scientist and pilot. We walk down 5 levels of stairs and a few long passageways. Then we are seated in the trolley cars, well, that's what they call them. I remember this place. I hope they are in a good mood. Actually, I hope this every time. But they have never been in a good mood. In fact, I'm not sure they even know what a good mood is. They always seem so angry and impatient. It takes a while to get there, so I scan to see what is happening ahead. Surprises are never good down here. We are past the bubble caves, the crystal caves, and the Crimson Cathedral. Of course, it's not a cathedral. It's just another series of caves, inappropriately named by someone with a morbid sense of humour. Next will be cockroach territory. Yes, another apparently humorous name. Putrid place, aptly named because of the stench it emits from what is stored there until it can be burned in the furnaces. We go past Golden Hearth, and now we are passing Dire Dynamics, which is a relatively small group of caves compared to the rest. I estimate about 60. It is the last group of caves before the centre, and is designed for and used by their doctors, scientists and technicians. The largest group of caves are called Misty Mountain, where we will have to traverse many flights of steps up to the supervisor's office near the top. As we travel in the trolley cars, I can feel Sleepy Man watching me from behind. He is watching my hair. I don't like it. I see in his thoughts he is wondering what it would be like to set my hair on fire. And I know he is whispering the words to himself. The girl must live, over and over again. On the way out, I will try to sit in the trolley car behind him if we leave the same way we came. It is not often that the supervisor summons someone. I hope there's not more contracts to sign, but what other reason would Sleepy Man be here? They always cut my foot to get blood for the contracts. There's no MMs here, and the doctors are not really very knowledgeable. I hope I'm put with the children if I have to wait. I like the toddlers and babies here, and I think it's unusual that these people treat me like they treat the toddlers. I have learned that the high-pitched voices they use and the odd way of speaking is called baby talk. I don't know why they do that. The babies understand perfectly, so why? I have to remind myself that I am small for my age, and to them I look like a toddler. The toddlers and babies here like it when I visit them. I join all their minds, and we have a great time of communication. I have been able to relay some information to the mums and people assigned to take care of them. The adults are always surprised that I can even speak properly, but some of them listen and implement those things the children need. I suppose I could find out why we are here. Oh, the supervisor has contracts ready to be signed. But this is unusual. They are wanting Sleepy Man's consent to do certain experiments on him. There are 3 similar ones they already do to me, and he signed mine without delay, without even reading them. We get to the top, and Sleepy Man is shown the contracts, and they hand him the knife. But he puts it down and picks up the contracts and begins reading. The supervisor is angry and impatient.
What are you doing? What is the problem here? You always sign all contracts immediately, and you've never read one before.
He hands Sleepy Man the knife again.
I expect you to sign immediately.
No!
Sleepy Man says, throwing the contracts and knife onto the desk.
If I can't read them, I won't sign them.
Why not? You always sign all contracts immediately, and you've never read any.
Contracts for her?
He says, gesturing to me.
I don't care what you do to her. Do whatever you want. But you won't be doing anything to me.
The supervisor is looking at me, and I see his thoughts.
I can hardly believe that he is the little girl's father. He doesn't care about her at all.
Father? He's not my father. Why would anyone think that? Oh, I see. Lies. They've been told lies, because it's easier to believe than the truth. Sleepy Man also thinks that he is my biological father. The most believable explanation is not always the truth. The supervisor gestures to the man at the back of the office, and he comes forward and pokes Sleepy Man with a needle. Sleepy Man is shocked and angry, and complains that it hurt, and that he doesn't like needles. He thought they only did it to me. He stands and starts yelling, but quickly sits back down as the takes effect.
Send me the usual witnesses,
the supervisor says.
Tell them to come immediately.
The man explains that the usual witnesses are not here because they were told that they would not be needed today. He says that he can get the backup witnesses, and the supervisor tells him to get them. The supervisor looks at me and he is thinking, so I answer his thoughts. Yes, I know your thoughts. How do you want me to prove it? I ask. I repeat word for word what he is reading until he stops reading and thinks foul language. I say, I'm sorry, but I don't say those words. Sleepy Man looks at me and with slurred speech he says,
Get out of my head and stay out.
I wasn't in your head, I tell Sleepy Man. I gesture to the supervisor. I was watching his thoughts.
Be careful of her,
Sleepy Man says, gesturing to me.
She can see your every memory, your whole life. She knows everything.
Then he whispers loudly,
You should her. Then I'll be the only one who knows things.
He continues in his thoughts.
Sometimes, maybe, I should know things. Why don't I know things?
Sleepy Man leans forward until his forehead is on the edge of the desk.
Tell me, what do you know about me?
The supervisor asks. You hate your job, even though it's supposed to be the top job here. You inherited this job from your father and are looking forward to your son turning 21 so he can take over, I say. You have a wife who you think hates you and only married you for position. You think she will not be happy with you stepping down. You have 3 daughters that you love very much and want to take them and your wife with you to live above ground and have a better life in the sunshine and fresh air. Oh dear. I continue. Yes, I do know about the other 5 women you, meet with. No, I don't think you should kill them all. All lives are precious. Please think about something else. Something good.
Why should I?
He thinks. Instead of speaking, I think to him, explaining that everything starts with a thought. If you can keep your mind on good things, That's what you'll do and say. Whatever you keep on thinking about will eventually become your reality, so think good things. He's had enough and orders the woman standing just outside the door to take me to the children's area. As I begin walking down the steps with her, I say in the supervisor's thoughts, "Just so you know, distance makes no difference." I walk into the toddler's cave and am immediately offered food. I sit with the other children and join our thoughts. Oh, so many requests. The older woman that everyone calls Auntie comes over and asks, "What do you have to tell me today?" I like this woman, which is odd. I actually like an adult. Since the first time I let her know that the toddlers understand everything without having to do that odd baby talk. She's the only one who stopped immediately and spoke to them properly. This time I let her know many things until a man walks into the cave and calls my name. He grabs me too tight by the arm, I wish they wouldn't do that, and takes me quickly to his lab. I can see in his mind that he won't bother with the needle that makes it painless, because when they had run out of it last time, I laid still and didn't make a fuss. I try to ignore the pain and think of something else, anything else. I check the supervisor's thoughts. The 3 backup witnesses are there, and one of them is a child, not much taller than me. The 3 of them have interesting minds and seem to store their memories as though they have certain areas in their minds to put things, all categorized and readily available to recall at any time. I find it amazing and so intriguing. Oh, I wish this procedure was finished. As I watch the child, I can see that she hates doing this and wishes she was just like all the other ordinary children. They are required to bear witness in front of all the other groups if Sleepy Man wants to contest the signing. She would be required to show what she saw via some tech that hurts when it's attached. So far, no one has contested anything she has had to witness, but she remembers the pain that the tech caused during the tests. This hurts. Doesn't he realize how much this hurts? Of course he doesn't. How could he? Oh, and again. How many times is he going to do that? 30. He's only up to 12. Okay, that child. Where is she? They've already left the supervisor's office. Sleepy Man is being taken somewhere. Oh, here. They're bringing him here. Why? Oh. This is the 14th time. And it hurts. Cockroach. Where is he? Cockroach is the nickname of the man who watches over cockroach territory. He got his nickname from catching cockroaches in the caves and releasing them above ground. The story is that the original name was Bat Basement, but the bats all left when the people invaded their caves. With the bats all gone, their food source took over, and there were cockroaches everywhere. The people decided to have geckos for pets to get rid of the cockroaches. The name was going to change to Gecko Gardens, which was humorous because there were no plants there at all. Eventually, the geckos took over the place and had to be taken back above ground when the last of their food source disappeared. The renaming of the area had been scheduled for 2 days after the geckos were gone. No one knew what to name it. I can see it in Cockroach's memories. He got up, announced the renaming, and asked for suggestions. He suggested Cockroach Territory as a joke, but when everyone approved, that's what it was renamed. Oh, this is the 18th, and it still hurts. When Sleepy Man eventually walks in and sees me, he wants to leave, but they have him by the arms. They take him to the chair on the other side of the lab. I can see they think he needs nothing for the pain, because there should be no pain. They poke him with another needle and he cries out in pain. For a needle? Oh dear, I see what they have in mind. I don't like it. This is the 22nd. 8 more to go. Sleepy Man doesn't want me to watch him, so I don't. I will find someone else's mind, someone whose thoughts are loud. There's a few. I choose the boy who is going from cave to cave with those papers that Sleepy Man pretends to read sometimes on the surface. He has he calls it a scooter. He made it with 2 old car tires, and it has a box attached to the front of the handlebars and a box at the back, both full of papers. He knows exactly where to leave them. He has done it so many times before. This is how people down here find out what is happening above ground and at other subterrestrial places. Each subterrestrial town makes sure they update their town's information each week in certain parts of the paper. The above ground people are oblivious as to what some of the articles really mean. Only 3 to go. I hurt so much. The boy is given treats by some of the people who receive their papers. What is this chocolate thing? I would really like to try that one day. People seem to think that it tastes good. I like apricots. I think they taste good. I like walnuts too. He ends up at the toddler's cave where I was earlier. Mums are beginning to come to take their children home. He picks up his little sister and sits her in the front box of his scooter that is now empty of papers. He puts her belongings in the back box on top of 8 papers and delivers the last 8 on his way to his home cave. I can see how much his little sister adores him, and it seems like the feeling is mutual. It must be nice to have someone who cares. Why is this man still hurting me? He's up to 35. Oh, I see. He's decided to do more since I'm not complaining. Maybe I should complain. I let the man know. This hurts so much. Please, when will it be finished? I don't get an answer, because Sleepy Man suddenly cries out in pain and tries to get off the high bed on wheels that they put him on. One of the men complains that they haven't even started yet, so they decide to sedate him. He yells again when they poke him with another needle. The man comes back over to me and I ask, "If I yell like him, will you stop hurting me?" The man looks at his watch and says that he's finished. He's run out of time, but he was going to do 5 more. He lifts me down, grabs my arm, and half carries me 3 rooms down. I can hardly walk. I am in pain. He puts me on the high bed on wheels in this room and leaves me here. Oh dear, The blood is getting on the white sheet. I think about what that man has planned with what he took from me. I don't like it. I don't want him to do those things. I am not allowed to want. I am not allowed to want. I am not allowed to. I am not allowed to want. I am not allowed to want. I wait here by myself for a long time. Eventually a woman looks in the door and asks me why I'm still here. She comes over to get me down to take me to the toddler room, but when she stands me on the floor and sees all the blood, she puts me back on the bed and says that she will send someone to help me. Not long later, the older woman that everyone calls Auntie came in. I can see her thoughts. She was a nurse for over 40 years and thinks she knows everything the doctors do. She starts to sew a part up, but when my body flinches, she asks if I could feel it. I let her know that the man gave me no needle for the pain. She quickly gives me a needle and leaves the room, saying she'll be back soon. I watch her thoughts. She goes to the man who hurt me and, wow, I have never known a woman to speak like that to a man before. She thinks she can get away with it because of her age. I think she is right. I don't think he will do this to anyone else. The woman, Auntie, no, I just can't call her Auntie. She's not my auntie. Anyway, she returns and sits telling me about the toddlers until she thinks the pain would be gone. She touches the wound, and when I say that I can't feel it, she takes a long time stitching me up, saying that she wants it to be done perfectly so that it will heal properly. Eventually she wheels me back to the toddler cave. Apparently I shouldn't walk until it has healed a bit. She doesn't want me to split the stitches. There's not many left in the toddler's cave. 4 children, 3 belong to the women who work here, and they are just waiting for the other one to be picked up so they can take their children home. The older woman offers to wait with me and the other child. She tells us both some stories of long ago. I was 8 years old when my mother died, so I went to live with my auntie. My uncle was a doctor and my auntie was a nurse. They taught me everything that I know, which is a lot more than the doctors here know. In those days, above-ground schools expected children to wear their hat and gloves and blazer on their way to and from school, even on the hottest days. A group of us used to walk together, and we would always wait for each other if any of us were running late. One day, on our way to school, a group of us were waiting for a girl named Moira. She had the most beautiful dark brown hair and was always waiting for us to arrive at her house, standing out the front under the shade of the big tree. This day was the first day she was running late. We waited as long as we could. Then the oldest girl went to knock at the door. A male voice asked what we wanted, and the girl asked about Moira. He called out that she's not going to school today. We all thought that was odd. Who was that man? It wasn't her father or her older brother. We all decided to stop at her house on the way home, even the children whose houses were closer to the school. This time, we all went to the door and knocked, but there was no answer. 5 of us who had visited her home before decided to go around to the back door, while the rest of us stayed at the front. The back door that they never locked is locked. We look in every window, but the blinds are all drawn. We all know that something is wrong, but besides all the calling out, there is nothing we can do. We decide to watch the house and take turns. 3 of us live close by, so it is fairly easy. The next day, Saturday, all except 3 of us who obviously couldn't make it, stay and watch the house. But nothing is happening. We sit watching. Each one of us make up a story of what might have happened. Kidnapped and held for ransom. Gone on holidays. Taken by aliens. Even other criminals. One of the boys' idea was amazing. It involved spies and helicopters and jewel thieves. Even though it was fun making up stories, trying to work out what happened, we were all quite anxious and worried about Moira and her family. After lunch, we realised that her father's car isn't here, and it hadn't been here since yesterday morning. We all decide that she must have gone somewhere with her family, and we are about to go our separate ways when someone remembers the man who said that Moira wouldn't be going to school yesterday. Who was he? None of us know. We all wonder if we go to the police, would they listen to us? Or would they tell us to go away? We all imagine them saying that thing that adults say when they want us to leave them alone. Children should be seen and not heard. We decide to knock on the front and back doors again and see if there's a way to see through one of the windows. Maybe a curtain isn't quite closed properly. We spend a long time on the property trying to see in the windows, and at one window the curtain moves. We call out Moira's name and her brother's name, and the curtain moves again. We just decide we're going to tell the police when...
What are all you children doing?
A man's voice asks. We explain, and the man laughs at our theories as to what happened. I ask him, "Who are you? Why are you here?"
Maybe I'm the spy. Have you seen any jewel thieves around?
He asks, laughing.
I am just the neighbour. I have come to feed their cat.
He says.
They asked me to feed their cat for a few days, so they'll probably be back on Monday.
The man doesn't know where they've gone either. When he comes out of their house after locking their back door, he says,
I just remembered something. They didn't want me to go near them, so I wouldn't get sick. The boy had spots.
Probably chickenpox, I say. Or maybe the measles,
Let me guess.
he says.
Are you the doc's new daughter?
We all had another long conversation, including the neighbour. He was great at making up stories of what could have happened. When I went home, I asked for some calamine lotion so I could give it to Moira on Monday. I knew that was the only thing that would relieve the itchy spots. That was my first diagnosis and prescription. I even wrote up a prescription to give to Moira along with the lotion. Not a lot of interesting things happened when I was young, but at least I have one interesting story. Is that why you like to be called Auntie? I ask. Because you grew up with your auntie? Precisely, she answers. The toddler's mum is here. She picks up her sleeping toddler, who fell asleep partway through the story. I tell the older woman, I know you changed the story and told it as though you were speaking to older children when you saw the other child fall asleep. I had a feeling you would know, she says, and you probably knew how it would end too. Another scientist comes to take me, but the older woman insists on coming, saying that she will wheel me there because she doesn't want those stitches pulling out. I can see that she also wants to watch that I am not harmed unnecessarily. What's happening? Why is this older woman being so kind to me? I'm not used to it. I don't like it. I'm used to being hurt by all adults. I don't like that either. I can see in her thoughts that she only wants to help. It makes me wonder how awful she will be to me later. Because if any adult is kind, usually the nicer they are, the worse they will be later. I remember wondering about this the last few times I was here. Maybe she will remain kind. Every time. I hope so. Thank you so much for joining me with a cuppa. I really appreciate your company.